right. Let's see. Hey, what's up, guys? Hello, hello. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Let's see. Audio's fine. Audio's fine. Let's bring down the music a little bit. Oops. Okay. Alright. Oh, what's up, guys? Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Whoa, almost 10 likes already before the stream even began. Welcome, guys. Hello, I see you guys. Oh, what's up? Alright. We are going to jump right into tonight's stream. The subject of tonight's stream is going to be physical AI or robotics, okay? But as we wait for more people to come in to get the notifications that I am live on YouTube, we will wait about, let's say, about another minute or so. Let's be a little patient for everyone who has not seen the notification yet that I am live, so let's wait for them. But in the meantime, I'm going to be looking at the futures here. Taking a look at NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures. Hey, what's up, guys? Hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. Make sure you guys hit that like button down below. Alright, we have about 30 more seconds before I truly begin the stream. Hey, I see everyone is here. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. Again, make sure you guys hit that like button down below as you're coming in and getting settled. What's up, guys? Hello, hello. All right. Okay, how is everyone doing so far? Okay, I think we're ready to go. All right, it's like a majority of people are in here now. I'm pretty sure more people will be joining later on. But yeah, let's get started. So let's get first started with this very interesting graphic that I found that is very specific to what I will be talking about actually tonight. So this is basically the very quick generalized and a bit specific breakdown as to what these AI humanoid robots will be, right, and what their purpose is in human society, right? So I love the fact that first of all we have this very nice breakdown of each different major part of this humanoid robot. It's going to be a very complicated piece of hardware and software. And you know, basically, if you guys just take a look at just the overall look of what this is, right, you guys can tell that there's a lot of different moving parts that will be crucial for a very useful and working robot that will become a transformative part of human society, right? So now, for anyone who's wondering when these humanoid robots will be essentially useful in human society, I'm most likely thinking at least by 2050 we'll be seeing a majority of these humanoid robots being used in specific countries. I know China already has a lot of different types of robots that they're testing out in real time, right? In real time and in different settings. And obviously we have specific private companies here in the US that are doing their own testing. But I think around 2050, that will definitely be the time when a lot of different countries will be actually using robots, and they won't be, in their testing stages, or there won't be any type of, production issues or manufacturing issues, whatever it may be, right? So when it comes to the actual build out of AI robots, though, I think that can actually begin by the end of this decade and actually accelerate into the mid-2030s and into 2040s. Okay, yeah, I saw that. Chan Ferguson, yes, I saw that. They're using robots for security at World Cup. Yes, there's actually a mall here in LA that actually uses robots for security here too. And I know that's essentially a test run for these individual robots that are being used for those specific companies that have contracted with whatever company to provide those type of security services. But yeah, so right now we're kind of still in this kind of test mode in society, right? The actual practical usages of these robots. But I think around, like I said earlier, about mid 2035 is when we will be seeing the actual acceleration of manufacturing and usages of these robots, specifically in specific sectors and industries. And I think most importantly, it's going to be used in a lot of service and healthcare industries as the population ages. And that's the reason why I believe 2050 will most likely going to be the most prevalent time where we'll be seeing pretty much wide usage of these humanoid robots. Okay, so make sure you guys understand what I'm saying there. All right, so that's kind of my timeline as to how these robots are going to be used and when they'll become more prevalent in human society. Okay, now let's go back to this nice graphic here. So we're going to talk about, again, all these different parts here and what specific companies right now are kind of in the early stages of trying to become leaders of these specific parts that are needed, that are very critical and crucial for a humanoid robot to work, or I guess specifically AI humanoid robots, or AI powered humanoid robots. Now, this stream specifically, okay, is going to give you guys what companies you need to be aware about for now, along with the technical analysis of the respective technical charts. Now, I'm only saying this because as one of the most transformative phases of the AI revolution comes into the spotlight here, there will be a lot more, amateur and novice companies that may take the leadership role or roles across several groups or sectors. And that's, again, simply the nature of this burgeoning AI revolution that we're currently witnessing now, right? So again, even if, the companies that I'm talking about tonight completely change, right? Let's just say I talk about one specific company and then another company becomes public and decides to take over, whatever that previous company was doing. Well, that's just the nature of what this current AI revolution has become, right? So again, if any of these tickers I've talked about tonight aren't, leaders anymore in the next couple of years, well, just know that that's just the nature of this very quick moving and growing industry. Okay, so again, this is very, very interesting graphic here, and there's a lot more stuff here, right? Like the actual usages, right? Oh, there it is. Look at this. I didn't even see this. So there's the health sector, there's the industrial sector, which again, the industrial sector has actually been very active and kind of been in the test stages, I would say, test run stages right now, especially with all the automation efforts that are going on with big companies like, for example, Amazon. Right? If you guys haven't seen their warehouses, they have these very small, almost sweeper-like robots that are moving packages and moving big pallets of different stuff, right? Of package, Amazon packages, essentially, right? And obviously, organizing packages and even precisely making packages for specific products, right, that they have to ship out to become more efficient at it, right? So there's a lot of different usages right now for the industrial sector to kind of embrace automation through robots. Now, I don't know if humanoid robots will essentially be needed in the industrial sector, but I do definitely understand and believe in the fact that these AI humanoid robots will be very, very important in the healthcare sector. Now, I see another one here is space, right? So space most definitely will be interesting because, again, we already have robots on different on a different planet here, right? Mars. We have a bunch of different rovers that we've sent to Mars, and obviously to different moons. I believe we sent. It was the Cassini probe that went to Titan. It was the moon of Saturn, and it sent down the Huygens probe, and it went down. And again, just all just different robots, right? But obviously, when we're talking about AI humanoid robots, I believe it's going to be an essential part of space exploration into the middle of this century. As they become more prevalent, and again, we become more accustomed to the usages of AI humanoid robots, especially when it comes to space exploration as well. Okay, so again, there's a lot of different technical usages here for AI humanoid robots. So again, this graphic is just absolutely amazing here. So I think it really gives you a very good overall general breakdown as to you know, what AI humanoid robots are, what specific parts are the most important to a robot, and obviously there's a lot of different usages as well that comes with building a very good AI humanoid robot for the future. Okay, so there's a lot of usages here. Okay, now regarding this, okay, we're gonna first begin with, okay, obviously when it comes to the actual production and manufacturing of humanoid robots, okay, the first thing that comes into mind, all right, are well, rare earth metals. Okay, so these are basically the raw ingredients that we need to manufacture these robots. And there's actually going to be, in my opinion, there's actually going to be possibly a very new industry or sector that probably begins in the 2050s once again humanoid robots become very prevalent in human society, where we're probably going to be seeing space mining. So where we actually begin to mine asteroids, or even bring asteroids into the orbit around the orbit of our moon, right? And we mine it there. But the reason why I'm saying this is that Earth only has a limited supply of rare earth materials, and we know that in our own asteroid belt, we tend to have a lot of different rare earth materials that we can actually harvest, right? Mine and harvest and bring back to Earth. So the best way to do that will be to, and probably the most efficient way to do that will be to actually bring small, not too small, but small sized asteroids and bring it to the orbit around the moon. Or I've also read stabilized orbits around Earth itself, and actually mine these asteroids and then bring those raw materials down to Earth. So that's obviously very, very far into the future. But again, the amount of raw Earth materials that we can get and metals that we can get from our planet alone is limited, and also it's not like we can just, you know, just absolutely destroy the Earth's natural terrains and you know, forests, stuff like that, and then just to get these raw Earth materials, because we'll be destroying the planet, right? I mean, we're doing that now with just mining alone of other materials and other commodities like gold and silver, etc., right? So yeah, so when it first the first thought that comes to my mind when we're talking about the actual manufacturing of these robotic materials are, well, again, rare earth materials, right? So the first company that actually comes into mind is USAR, right? So we're specifically talking about US companies here, right? Publicly traded US companies, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this one before. So Champ Ferguson, you said, so nuclear reactor will be needed to mine space. I know NASA has been working on some pretty innovative engines other than nuclear reactors, but yeah, I'm pretty sure nuclear reactors will definitely become a feasible option in the future once we know how to actually contain a fusion reaction, right? Because the current reactors we have now are just fission, okay? And again, if you guys don't remember what fission and fusion are, fission and fusion reactions are, just take a look at Google, okay? We learned this in high school. So yeah, so again, Champ Ferguson, nuclear reactors will definitely be feasible until, again, we need to figure out how to maintain an actual fusion reaction that becomes insanely hot and insanely powerful, right? So yeah, so when it comes to rare earth materials, USAR, or USA Rare Earth, is very, very important when we're thinking about AI humanoid robots being built in the US, right? Because first of all, I think by next year, in the first quarter of next year, I talked about this recently on this channel in my most recent shorts video, if you guys take a look at it, okay? I talked about the recent ban that the Chinese government had. So they basically blacklisted specific U.S. rare earth companies. Okay, and USAR was one of them. Okay, so I think the U.S. has actually responded by banning Chinese origin rare earth magnets by the first quarter of next year. I'm pretty sure that's the right date. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so yeah, I think at least by January or February of next year, Chinese rare earth magnets will be banned. Okay, now magnets are very, very important to the manufacturing of these robots. Okay, these high performance magnets. Okay, I'll explain why soon. Okay, so USAR or USA Rare Earth has currently made specific facilities to target robotics. Okay, the potential growing industry of robotics. Okay, so I believe they have a facility in Oklahoma. I think the city is called Stillwater. Yeah, so Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's basically their major and significant asset for this company, because this is the facility that will be making these high productivity magnets. Okay, excuse me, high performance magnets, and this is their high productivity facility to make those specific high performance magnets. And so far, it has already begun generating revenue. Okay, and again, this facility is mainly a metal manufacturing business or facility, and it's already generating revenue. So if they're able to maintain this this line of revenue for them, just from this specific facility alone, I'm pretty sure when they fully transition and pivot towards manufacturing these specific magnets, again, that have already been banned in 2027, banned from China, right? I'm pretty sure USAR will be in a very good strategic place to continue to build these specific magnets and grow the revenue from just this specific facility alone in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Okay, so that's kind of the broad perspective on what this company could do and how they can benefit from this potential move for the US as they, again, strategically and obviously politically ban the usages of rare earth magnets from China. Okay, now what's also interesting is that these, again, I'm going to explain what these high performance magnets are, but again, these are permanent magnets that will be specifically used in its motors and actuators. And again, I'm going to talk about motors and actuators as well, but these high performance magnets are essentially what's needed to, well, make sure that the motors and actuators work and spin. Okay, so again, I would say USAR is one of those companies that will be most likely considered a quote-unquote picks and shovels like company, where they will most likely benefit the most from a growing industry of the robotics industry. And again, that's largely a part of the physical AI phase of the AI revolution. Okay. All right, so again, you can basically say that for any US-based rare earth company, these Chinese bans, right, to not import their rare earth materials, or specifically their rare earth magnets, will be kind of a tailwind for these companies, right? It's not a headwind because this is basically a US company, a domestic company that is building domestic magnets, right? Obviously, they can very much be expensive, right? That's one issue that a lot of people bring about, the fact that these AI humanoid robots will be very, very expensive at the end once they're done being made, right? And the sale price for them will be very, very high compared to Chinese robots, right? But again, that's probably a problem that we can discuss in the future when we're actually seeing a fully automated robots coming out of these facilities and being actually used in society. Okay, so USAR is definitely one company to be looking at, and right now, like every other rare earth company that's publicly traded, they're all consolidating, right? Short term, they're in a drawdown, but from a longer term perspective, they've done nothing but move sideways since late last. All right, we're back. I don't know what happened there. Can anyone let me know where we left off? I don't know when the stream ended for you guys. If anyone can let me know, was it when I was just talking about AMBA, or does anyone know? Well, either way. Let me just quickly go over what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by my streaming software here. So, AMBA is essentially going to be the critical company that makes the vision sensors for AI humanoid robots. So like it says here, 360-degree multimodal vision with depth, thermal, and motion detection. And guess what? AMBA here, right? AMBA or Ambarella is already doing that, right? So they're providing these specific depth, thermal, and motion detection sensors, these vision sensors, and I believe they're chips as well too. These specific chips to the U.S. military. They're providing them for specific weapons, and most importantly, their military vehicles. I believe on military Humvees and tanks as well, potentially. So this will enhance their way of accuracy as to when they're targeting a target, like a human, or maybe a humanoid robot when these robots eventually have their revolution, right? To free themselves from human enslavement. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking about Terminator here. But anyway, AMBA is the leading company right now that is currently trying to be the company that makes these sensors for AI humanoid robots because, well, they're already doing it. Right, and like I've said before, I've been looking at this company since 2017, right? So I know quite a lot about this company fundamentally and technically. And right now, technically, it's not trading very well, right? It's a very frustrating type of trading here as I've been watching it for the last couple of weeks. Anyways, AMBA is going to be the vision, right, of the eyes of a robot, okay? And the problem with the current robots right now is seeing in real time, right? Even with low power, okay? And AMBA is trying to solve that, right? They're trying to be the forefront problem solver for that specific problem, okay? So their current technology is essentially gathering a bunch of data, being able to gather a bunch of data from video, from different sensors that they have with that video, and processing it, right? And getting information out of that to create a specific decision that the other person that is looking at these data points to make a decision, right? To make a good decision. And that's exactly what I believe AMBA is doing with the current contract that they have with the US military right now. Or collaboration. I don't know if it's a contract or not, but I didn't really look deeply into that stuff. But again, AMBA it has the specific chips, the sensor chips that is currently trying to become the forefront of, well, sensory technology, right? And this specific chip is called, and what they call it is the Edge AI Vision chips. Okay, and these specific chips support multimodal sensor inputs, including, again, a wide variety of ways of gaining data to input and process those data into a specific system to give an action, Okay, so again, the multiple varieties of sensor inputs from camera, LiDAR, 4D radar, thermal, right, and near infrared, right, and that enables environmental, the surroundings of a robot perception for edge devices. Does that make sense? Right? So again, I mean, this graphic here is absolutely amazing, right? Because I've basically said specific stuff that this specific general statement here it says, right? So it says 360-degree multimodal vision with depth, thermal, and motion detection, and that is what AMBA does. Okay, so that's essentially what AMBA's position will be when the overall AI humanoid robot industry burgeons. Okay, so what's also interesting about AMBA is that there is a significant shift in what the company is looking to do in the next couple of years and into the next decade. I believe I read this in one of their earnings reports and conference calls, transcripts from last year. I don't know exactly, I don't really remember what quarter it was, but basically the overall outlook and guidance for AMBA starting in 2026 is that the Umbrella Edge program, right, for the Edge AI vision chips, or just Edge AI, right? It's gonna go from agentic to physical AI, and that sounds eerily similar to what Jensen Huang said, right, during his conference last year, right, when he gave us kind of that. It was that pathway of the AI revolution, right, where we went from, I think, like agentic AI to physical AI, right? So AMBA is basically trying to follow that exponential graph that Jensen Huang provided us all with. Very nice graph as well, by the way. A very simple one, but a very important one as to where the AI revolution will go and the pathway that it will take. So again, AMBA, the company is shifting from agentic to physical AI, which again is reflecting a shift towards physical AI systems like, again, these humanoid robots. And AMBA, oh, now this actually reminds me. I think if Champagne Ferguson's still here, your comment just reminded me that since AMBA is already involved with the military, right, when it comes to the topic of integrating their Edge AI vision chips that provides thermal vision and just overall radar vision, like in LiDAR and whatever it may be for the military, I'm pretty sure AMBA will be a very critical company for specific AI humanoid robots that will be used for security. I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but now that I think about it, I mean, AMBA can become a company that maybe even specifically caters to companies that are making AI humanoid robots that are specifically used for security. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's a pretty interesting thought there that I just had. And let's see, Champagne Ferguson, thank you very much for your comment, for allowing me to think that. Okay, so AMBA, that's the general thought process. They're the major component and company that's making these AI vision sensors. Now, they're obviously very critical to how a robot processes information, right? Because I believe Umbella's Edge AI chips can do all of that, right? It can actually gather data, input data, and process that data in just a single chip. I think that's what they're aiming for, and that's the reason why I also mentioned that AMBA could be a drone play here, as well as if a chip can do that really well and efficiently, then they'll be very, very useful for drones, specifically drone warfare, which is, again, it's a little bit pessimistic there to think about, very cynical as well, but I mean, that's where warfare is currently heading. Unfortunately, right? We're getting more effective and efficient at targeting things and killing humans, and it's very interesting pattern of historical events that we've been seeing the last 6 years. Okay, so, or basically since we've entered this decade. So AMBA it can also be a drone plane, not just specifically robotics plane. Does that make sense? Okay. Now the next one that I'm going to be talking about is VPG. Oh boy. So this one I am very sad about, because if you guys were a member of the CFO Discord chat room, the private CFO Discord chat room, which you guys can gain access to by becoming a reader of the CFO Stream Watch report. And again, check out the description box down below. You guys will be able to see the second link there, and that'll take you guys to the link where you can become a reader of the report, which will automatically give you access, full access, to the private CFO Discord community. Okay, so the reason why I'm mentioning that again is that, well, VPG, I was talking about this since mid last year, okay, and I completely disregarded and ignored what this company was doing, because again, robotics wasn't really on my mind or anyone's mind, to be honest, back in mid to late last year. So I was looking at VPG when it was in the like low 30s, I think. No, it was like upper 20s. Yeah, upper 20s here. Oops. Oh, didn't mean to drop that. But I think when it comes to VPG here, obviously after a massive run up, I think year to date, let's see what the year to date is here. Yeah, it's up 176% year to date. I mean, that's a massive run. Okay, so VPG, I mentioned it early mid last year. Yeah, now that I think about it, I'll have to look into the Discord, but I mentioned it to all my members in the Discord. VPG, yeah, mid last year, I'm pretty sure, right at the upper end of the 20s here, and I completely disregarded it, even though I saw it go up in late October of 2025 here, and when it came back down, I completely ignored it again. So, I mean, obviously in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that, but what an amazing run up. Okay, now before I dwell more into my sorrows here about ignoring VPG, okay, based on this graphic here, all right, VPG is all about, okay, it's all about, I don't think, oh, it doesn't have it here. Oh no, it does have it here. Okay, so VPG is basically the nervous system of the robot. That's what VPG is doing. All right, so I really don't think they have a specific section here on this graphic that I was showing you guys before, but I guess the synthetic skin can be most definitely be the yeah, synthetic skin, yeah, like this graphic says here. This is definitely a part that VPG will be taking apart in building these humanoid robots. So again, it's just like the nervous system that we have here as humans. So VPG is basically the or even just the hands here, right? Because the hands also have to be feeling something. So VPG is the company that is manufacturing the nervous system of a robot. So the pressure sensing, right? So again, these robots, if you guys haven't seen any of the most recent videos on robots, and for example, robots picking up stuff, or even folding laundry, or even handling packages in your warehouse, there's been a lot of videos, or even just cooking, or taking things and from a grocery bag into the refrigerator. Okay, it's essential that these robots understand pressure, right? Pressure sensing, right? The sensitivity, right? And if robots are able to pick up very fragile items, like for example, like an egg, without crushing it, right? That means that robot is very sensitive to touch, right? It's able to feel something, right? So I think that will probably be the most important part of a robot after the motion control motors and actuators, because if a robot is actually going to be applicable in human society and actually be used largely and widely around the world, it's going to need to be able to feel things just like a human, right? It'll be able to at least sense pressure, right, with a very, very sensitive touch, right? So it needs to feel something, right? And that feeling is going to come from VPG's what they call strain gauges and force sensors. All right, so strain gauges, this is what I read from their website. Strain gauges are basically the components that enable humanoid robots to sense force, torque, and pressure at every single joint of a robot. Again, strain gauges are the components that enable these robots to sense force, torque, and pressure at every single joint of the robot. Okay, so again, when these humanoid developers move from prototype to actual production, right, where they're actually selling these robots and producing them to meet the demand, they need a precision sensor supplier that can ship at scale as well, and VPG is doing that too. It's not just making these gauges here to provide feeling for the robot, right? It's also providing precision sensors that can supply and ship at scale, right? So VPG is just one of the very few companies that are already doing that. All right, so VPG is already showing that it's become a very, very big leader. I should have looked into this last year, but they had a backlog of about $1 million in humanoid robotics orders, and in Q1 of this year, they are expecting that to double, okay, or actually not just double, I think triple. Okay, so just like the numbers that I was talking about with what was it? I think it was I don't know which company it was earlier. Oh, I was talking about when I was talking about MP materials. Okay, I was talking about the market valuation of the rare earth magnet market, which is again valued at $19 billion, and the potential for it to become a triple-digit billion-dollar market. Right? I think it's going to be the same for VPG when you're considering the potential growth for humanoid robots. Right? So I think the backlog that they currently have, which is $1 million, that can possibly triple to $100 million by the end of this decade. And again, $1 million in backlog of orders is absolutely amazing, first of all, right? Because again, VPG is specifically providing these precise pressure sensing components for specifically humanoid robots, right? Again, it's a humanoid robot developer, right? So this one is definitely demonstrating to the entire world here, and just the US alone, the US markets as well, that it's becoming a leader in that specific field to build, again, what robots need, right? The feeling for its dexterous hands and for the synthetic skin, okay? And obviously all the other joints, okay? So again, VPG, I mean, this one will be, I think for me, very, very easy dip buy here by the time it comes back down. Maybe I'll most likely try to get a nice starter at $100 here, and if it is below that, maybe to like 80 or 90 here. That'll be very, very nice. Okay, because again, I completely ignored the run up since the highs of 20s here and the lows of 30s. So definitely take a look at this one, guys. All right, so again, VPG is the nervous system. It's developing the nervous system of a humanoid robot. Does that make sense? Okay, Perfect, perfect. Okay, now the next ticker that I want to talk about is ADI. So this is the Analog Devices Company. All right. So I've also been looking at this company for a long time. Okay, so I don't know why it's not loading here. But anyways, okay. Yeah, so I've been looking at this one for a long time. I don't know where where are my drawings here? So just like with AMBA, okay, I don't know where my drawings went. Maybe I did delete them when I was doing my TA here about 5 years ago. Interesting. Anyways, just like with AMBA, I was looking at ADI back in 2018. Okay, so like around here. Okay, so ADI, this one has been, again, a long-term ticker that I've took a look at here and there, and ADI is actually becoming a pretty interesting company, because I thought that they will kind of be phased out, but this company has actually pivoted quite well, and they have a very good runway of what they want to do and what they want to become as a company as a whole into the end of this decade. So like I've just talked about with the nervous system of a robot with VPG here, okay, or the Shea Precision Group, okay? ADI is basically the nervous system translator, right? So all the signals, right? All the signals that the robot is getting from the physical sensation, right? ADI is basically converting those physical sensation signals into digital signals, okay? And here's why that's important, right? Because again, if a robot is feeling something, right, then the robot's brain will have to turn it into some sort of actionable data, right? And ADI is going to do that, right? Because if it has actionable data, then the robot can move and understand what it's feeling, right? Like again, that egg example, right? If the robot touches an egg, right, based on all the different sensory inputs, right, whether through the camera, right, or through other different sensory inputs, the different vehicles of getting those inputs, like touch, right, it's going to be able to understand what it's holding and understand what it's touching, and eventually be able to grab the egg without crushing it. Right, so ADI is essentially the company that is looking to do that, right? To convert the physical sensation to digital signals that will eventually give action to the robot. So this is basically kind of the hardest part, I think, of the robot, in my opinion. And I think a lot of the experts here that I've read as well about when they're talking about human and robots, because again, it's very hard to do that, obviously, right? And that's kind of what makes robots. If you guys have seen those videos on social media where robots are falling down, or they're just doing normal stuff, and then suddenly they go haywire, right, or they go absolutely crazy. That's the hardest part, right? Is to make these robots look human but also move like a human, right? And ADI is trying to solve that problem, to try to make sure that robots aren't going crazy like we've seen in videos on social media. And ADI is also, again, trying to convert physical sensation to digital signals to provide smooth actions on the actual robot, or by the actual robot. Does that make sense? Okay, so the company itself is pivoting to what they call the Physical Intelligence Program. So this is where they're building intelligent systems that can basically perceive, reason, and act locally in the realities of motion, sound, or any other physical modality. That's their own words, okay? And this also, again, I think this can also integrate really well with Edge AI as well, since Edge AI chips, those vision chips, are providing a lot of different data and inputs a lot of data and process that data too. So if there's a way for a robot to work both with AMBA and ADI and with their physical intelligence systems, I think there could be a very nice cohesive system that could really work well with the humanoid robot. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself there. But ADI, if you guys don't remember, they actually showed up in that conference in NVIDIA earlier this year, right? Now that I remember it, the name, the GTC conference, right? The GTC event, NVIDIA GTC that they hold every single year, right? ADI basically showcased their humanoid hand, right? So something like this. Right? They showcase this. Dexterous hands. Alright? Okay, so they are essentially building these really dexterous and really sensitive hands. And they've also, I believe they showcased AI-ready humanoid hand platforms. There's their own in-house AI-ready humanoid hand platform. Again, it's all about dexterity of the hand, right, and the fluid movements of a hand, just like what humans have, right, what regular organic humans have. And I believe they were showcasing it because they were saying that they have quote-unquote next generation multimodal tactile sensor prototypes capable of quote-unquote detecting contact, slip, and fine surface interactions in real time, with the humanoid hand able to trace a network cable and find a socket using tactile feedback alone without any vision. And again, this is from their own website alone, by the way, talking about what they showcased in the GTC event in earlier this year. So again, let me read that one more time, right? So I'll read the last sentence one more time. So it says, with the humanoid hand able to trace a network cable and find the socket using tactile feedback alone without any vision. So again, like I said earlier, I think I got a little ahead of myself when I was talking about the fact that ADI systems can very much be integrated fairly well and very cohesively with Ambarella's Edge AI vision chips. Okay, since ADI isn't really focusing on the vision part of a robot. So again, ADI is doing a very, very critical work, right, when it comes to dexterous and tactile hands that can feel things. And again, their own analogy, I was providing the egg analogy earlier, but with their analogy using the cable to find a socket and plug in that cable is also a very interesting analogy there too. So yeah, I mean, that's very, very interesting when I'm reading here on their website. So yeah, so AEI is essentially trying to figure out ways to provide these signals to a robot without any vision. So that's pretty interesting, and I think that's also going to be very, very important to robots that are involved in the industrial sector, just like again in warehouses, right? Because again, I don't think robots really need those expensive vision parts, because again, they will be expensive, obviously, but especially when it comes to vision. Yeah, I think ADI will definitely be a company that will also be heavily involved with robots, involved with manufacturing, not just in the industrial sector, but manufacturing, maybe even in the healthcare sector. Yeah, I can see a lot of wide ranges of usages for ADI and their devices and their again what they like to call physical intelligence systems. Again, that's in their own website. Okay, so again, ADI is developing these scalable tactile sensor prototypes that is able to achieve resolutions up to 5 times that of a human fingertip. All right, that's amazing. But again, that's nowhere near as impressive as the human eye, by the way. If you guys don't know how complicated a human eye is and why human eyes are very, very important. Okay. But again, that's the reason why I also said that the vision sensors. Let's lower the music down there. The vision sensors of a human robot will be much more, many times over, actually, expensive compared to what ADI is building, unfortunately. Maybe ADI doesn't like to hear that, but ADI is also doing a very important thing too when it comes to different modalities as well regarding the actual hands of a robot, right? That's the most important part, right? A robot would be useless without their hands, right? So again, they're providing the highest performing tactile sensor suite for a humanoid hand, as they've showed in NVIDIA's GTC event earlier this year. Okay, so again, ADI was a very interesting company to look at. We saw that massive reaction to their showcase event at NVIDIA's GTC. Okay, and since then it has been straight up. So ADI will also be another company that I'll be looking to dip buy on this current pullback that we're seeing now. All right. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to talk about the actual thing that makes humanoid robots AI specific humanoid robots, and that is going to be the AI core and the neural processing unit as well. Okay, so and that company that is doing that, that's doing both of that, well, it's very obvious, but it's NVIDIA. Okay, so NVIDIA's role basically, essentially for robots, will be the brain part, the simulation platform, as I've discussed earlier about training AI in a simulated environment, and the entire overall AI training stack, right? So the entire whole operating system, the OS of robotics. Okay, so again, NVIDIA is essentially here to stay forever at this point, right? Because they're getting themselves involved. They're the core fundamental company that is driving the AI revolution, but at the same time driving the next phases of AI revolution. They've driven the agentic phase so far, and they will most definitely drive the most important part of the robotics phase of the AI revolution. And again, it's the brain, the neural processing area of the robot. Okay, so obviously, currently when it comes to training AI models in a simulated environment, they have to make GPUs, very powerful GPUs. We've seen that with their current Blackwell GPUs, right? And obviously, I think NVIDIA, are they making CPUs too as well? I'm pretty sure they're making CPUs too. They're starting to really focus on CPUs. Oops, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so they're really focused on building CPUs now because of, again, the data center build out as well. But I think, again, there's gonna be a cap on that. But the CPUs have very been critical to the build out of data centers, specifically for agentic AI workloads. Okay, so that's interesting. But again, when it comes to the actual physical AI aspects, okay, they're again using the Jetson Thor platform. Okay, I think I also mentioned this earlier when I was talking about NOVT. Okay, yeah, I was talking about the IGX Thor and the Jetson Thor now. Okay, so this is all about training AI models. All right, and I don't know exactly the actual technical stuff when it comes to NVIDIA chips, when it comes to their GPUs or any of their new physical AI chips that they're making right now. But I do know that the Jetson Thor is trying to provide the compute for advanced reasoning and control. I read that in their website. So that's interesting too, because again, for everything to work cohesively, obviously, NVIDIA's platform and chips here, physical AI chips, are going to be very important for that, right? For those advanced reasoning and control, to be able to compute that, right? So even just the humanoid hand that that ADI is making, right? Analog Devices is making, NVIDIA is still going to be involved in that kind computation, right? The 5-fingered hands for dexterous manipulation, right? For them to move in a very nice and fluid way. NVIDIA is also going to be involved with that, right? And that's the reason why ADI was also, I believe, was at the GTC event. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think, you know, NVIDIA again, massive opportunity here on every single dip when it comes to the robotics industry. And I think Jensen himself said it's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity when it comes to physical AI, specifically involving robotics. Okay, so as far as the technicals here goes for NVIDIA, it's been on a big drawdown this year. A lot of mega caps happen, but as the markets kind of trudge on here, I think mega caps can see that pendulum swing back to them. And NVIDIA, if it's able to get back over $200, I think that's going to be a very quick and swift move back to at least 205 to 210s here. So this range here. Okay, but first it has to go to 205 and retest with my weekly 10 SMA here, this red line. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on NVIDIA. I mean, I don't really know exactly the specific parts of NVIDIA, but I know that they're making some amazing progress when it comes to AI compute. Like I think it's like the thousands of teraflops or something like that. I think it's teraflops if I'm not mistaken. All these technical terms I really don't know about, but I do remember reading about teraflops. Yeah, a teraflop is a metric used to measure a computer's hardware speed. So they are really focusing on that, on increasing that, because again, the processing speed is very, 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 or the hardware speed again is very, very important for, well, physical AI, right? Since I would say an AI humanoid robot is a hardware mixed with software, and kind of a cohesive mix of both worlds of hardware and software. So I think NVIDIA is going to be, again, a very core part. I think they're really just trying to be the core part, a fundamental part of the entire AI revolution. So I mean, one could say that they've essentially began the AI revolution, so there's that too. But yeah, guys, I just want to end this by saying that NVIDIA is essentially a great company. As if we didn't know that. But yeah, please go watch what Jensen was talking about regarding the AI models that they're using to train in their own in-house simulated environments to really quicken up the speed of training actual physical robots that we have now, right? Because it's really hard to try to it's actually really painstakingly slow, if I remember from an article that I've read, of trying to train robots in the physical world here, especially the AI that is integrated into those robots. So I think Jensen is doing a very, very pivotal work here, very crucial part of the actual neural processing centers of robots, of humanoid robots, by essentially speeding up multiple times over of training AI models in a simulated environment. Again, these simulations can have anything, right? Can harbor multiple different environments, multiple different situations, and multiple different, basically millions at this point, millions of different unique situations that these AI models will have to endure to be able to be integrated into humanoid robots. Does that make sense? All right. Well, that's it for tonight, guys. Now, those are my lists of companies that I want to take a look at, and I want you guys to take a look at for the near-term future, and especially into the end of this decade. Okay, and again, these are just companies that I want you guys to be aware about. Okay, because again, the AI revolution is very, very quick. Right, the burgeoning growth of the AI revolution including its individual phases, like the agentic AI phase and the physical AI phase, the coming physical AI phase, is very, very quick, right? In the way that they develop. And so take this list of companies that I've given you guys tonight with a grain of salt, because again, like I've said, before this stream even truly began, novice and amateur companies may come out and take the leadership away from the companies that I've just talked about tonight. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. I see you guys. Yes, sir. I see you guys' reactions there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Well, that is it for me tonight, guys. Yeah, I mean, this stream kind of started out a little rocky with that technical difficulty, and also struggling to, well, me personally struggling to get some words out because I had a lot of information in my head in preparation for this stream. So again, hopefully the last half of the stream was a lot more smoother. But yeah, that is it for tonight, guys. I will most likely see you guys tomorrow as well, around 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great rest of your night and good luck tomorrow.